Anderson Gray here. This is episode 71 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. And in today's episode, I'm talking about how to plan the content for your live video shows. This is an often asked question. You know, it's great going live, but what on earth do you talk about? How do you plan the content for this? And we've talked about this a number of times on the show, but I'm going to dive into a little bit more detail today. So the show notes for this episode will be at iag.me/71. That's when the podcast comes out. And if you want to know more about the podcast, all you need to do is go to iag.me/podcast, which is awesome. Today's show is sponsored by my friends at Restream and Content 10x. So a little bit more about them in a minute. But yeah, I can see that Bob Gentle is here. It's great to see you, Bob. Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, great to see you, Bob. How are you doing in this mad world that we live in? And yes, you say hello there. And Martin Buckland is here. Good morning from Toronto. It must be pretty early in the morning. Is it like 6:30 a.m. or something mad like that? But great to see you today. Let me know if you're watching the replay. Just put hashtag replay in the comments. And if you're watching live, let me know where in the world you're watching from. As always, we're going live. I'm broadcasting to a plethora of different channels. And in fact, that reminds me just to refresh Mixcloud, which is a new destination that I'm broadcasting to. If you want to hop on over to Mixcloud, all you need to do is go to mixcloud.com/IAGDOTME. That's IAG.me. And I'm not just going to see, because the problem I've got with Mixcloud at the moment is that I can't see comments in Restream, but Restream is allowing me to broadcast to all these different channels, which is great. So I'm broadcasting to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, which is great. 6:30 a.m. Martin. Wow. That's early. That's early. So yes, let me know. I would love to know. This is not all about me on this show. I'd love to know how you plan your content, whether it is for blog posts, for podcasts, for live shows, because we've all got different ways of doing it. And I'm going to be sharing today just how I create my content and plan my content. So yeah, a little bit more about that. Well, yeah, I think it's time. Don't know about you guys, but I think it's time to get on with the show. So let's do that. See you just after this.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Hello, Ian Anderson Gray here for episode 71 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. If you've just joined us, thank you so much for joining. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments. Great to see you here. This is a live show, but it's also a podcast, and this section is the podcast section. So if you want to check it out, all you need to do is go to iag.me/podcast, and the show notes of this episode are going to be at iag.me/71. And if you're listening to this podcast, you won't notice this, but I am using different camera angles today. I'm just playing around with this. But yes, in today's show, we're going to be talking about how to plan the content of your live video shows. So that's pretty good. But first, I think it is time to talk about my first sponsor. Today's show is sponsored by Content 10x and Restream. And Restream is what I'm using to broadcast today. It allows me to broadcast to a plethora of different channels. I'm broadcasting to LinkedIn Live, to Facebook, YouTube, Mixcloud, Twitch, DLive, and lots of other channels out there. And this is great because it allows me to expand my reach to beyond my normal audience. Yes, my normal channels are Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, but it's been really interesting to broadcast to lots of different channels outside of my normal channels. And that's what Restream is all about. It's all about making restreaming, multi-streaming really easy for you. It's the complete multi-streaming suite for entrepreneurs. So yes, you can boost your views. You can broadcast to over 30 different destinations if you're feeling brave. And you can do this by using a tool like OBS Studio or Ecamm Live, which is what I'm using today. And all you need to do is then just broadcast to Restream, and Restream will take care of all of that. Or you can use your browser. And this enables you to use Restream Studio. So they've got a really professional live streaming kit within the browser. You can have up to 9 guests on your show. You can highlight comments on the screen, which you've probably seen me do. You can do lots of really cool things, and allows you to, of course, multicast to all these different destinations, all these different live video platforms all around the world, which is pretty awesome. The game changer, though, for me is it's fine multi-streaming to all these different destinations, but what if you can't engage with your audience? One of the most powerful things about live video is the fact that you can engage with your audience. I can see what you're saying, and we can have a chat and conversations. Well, with Restream, you can do that. It actually brings in the comments from all those different channels into either Restream Studio, or if you're using a tool like Ecamm Live, you can bring them in that way. So I can see your comments, I can engage with you, I can highlight them on the screen, and that is pretty awesome. You can also stream your pre-recorded videos live with the scheduler feature, and with the analytics feature, you can measure your success. So you can see which parts of your live streams had the most views and which had the least, and maybe you were getting a bit boring in there, and you can change things for the future. So yeah, definitely check out Restream. All you need to do is go to iag.me/Restream. That's iag.me/Restream. And I thank you, Restream, for sponsoring the show. Awesome. Right, cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Let's see who we have in the room. As I said before, we've got, let me just go to here. Got Bob Gentle watching. I think you're from Aberdeenshire. I think you are. So great to see you here. And Bob says, this is awesome. I did my first live last week and again this week. So how's that gone, Bob? Was this to Facebook or some other channel? Let me know what that experience was. Was it the worst thing in the world? Were you really nervous before you pressed that go live button? Yeah, let me know. Oh, and you do say, was terrified the first time. Okay, the next time. And I think that's pretty common. The first time you press the go live button, most people are pretty terrified. And actually, I still find if I have some time away from doing live video, if I go away like on holiday wecation and I go live again, I'm often a little bit more nervous than I was if I just do it regularly on a regular basis. So we've got Joe North here from Ripon. Hello, Joe. Hope you're doing really well. And let us know, just put in the comments a little bit more about your exciting launch that's coming up. And Jason McComb from Shropshire. We've got a very British audience today, apart from we've got Martin from Toronto. So no Australians yet. So great. Awesome. Well, just a few things before I get started. I wanted just to mention. First thing is the bot, my Facebook Messenger bot, is working out quite well. So if you're watching on my Facebook page, you may have already activated the bot. So if you've commented on my Facebook page at facebook.com/iag.me, you may have got a notification, because that enables you to download my confidence guide for free. So that's pretty good. Now, if you're watching on another channel, then you don't need to worry. I'm just going to put this in the comments, because if you want to subscribe to my future shows, if you want to be notified, then all you need to do is go to iag.me. No, in fact, you need to go to confident.live/subscribe, which kind of rhymes. confident.live/subscribe. I'll put that in the comments. So if you want to be notified, my messenger bot can remind you 15 minutes before you do that. And also you can grab my confidence guide, which is great. So yeah, I'm still in the process of sorting this out. So I would love some feedback on how you think bot is working. I'm very, very new to this. I feel really bad about this. I've been wanting to utilize bots in the past, but only getting around to it now. So yeah, that's the first thing. On Thursday this week, I also want to let you know I've got a fabulous guest. I've got Lou Mongello on to talk about how to grow your community using live video. So I saw Lou speak at Upreneur, the Upreneur Summit last year in London. Also met him a couple of times at the Social Media Marketing World in San Diego. So I'm really excited about that. So if you want to be to not forget about that, then all you need to do is go to confident.live/subscribe. And I've also got some really cool guests coming up on the show in the future. I've got Anne Popolizio talking about ads, Amy Woods on the show from Content 10X, Neil Schaefer talking about influencer marketing, Patrice McCauley on mindset, and Chris Ducker on sales. So, and I've got some other really amazing guests as well, which I'll let you know about in the future. And the final thing is on Tuesdays in the afternoon in the UK, I also have my Restream show. So this is Go Live with Restream. This is in partnership with Restream, who obviously sponsors this podcast, but this is a separate show. And this is all about utilizing the power of multi-streaming. So if you're interested in multi-streaming and a little bit more about that, then all you need to do is watch that. And if you want, I have also got a link for that to be, if you want to be notified by my bot, it's confident.live/restream. This is confident.live/restream. And I'm just going to pop that in the comments so you can see. Fabulous. Excellent. Right. I think it's time to get on with the main part of the content. So I've talked about content on the show quite a few times in the past, and I've had some guests on. I definitely would recommend checking out my the episode 58, which was all about my Confident Live process. And this is where I share all the steps before, during, and after you do your live video. So this will help you come up with the process and the planning side of things as well. And also right back towards the beginning, this is episode 12. This is last year, the episode 12 at iag.me/12. This was creating a content plan for your live shows with Andy Lambert. So Andy Lambert works at, he's one of the, well, I can't remember his exact title, but he's high up in Content Cal, which is an awesome social media management tool. So definitely check out that. So yeah, let me know how you create your content, because it's something that a lot of people struggle with. So I'd love to know how you create that content. Joe North is saying, Amy Woods is fab, bought and read her Content 10X book this weekend. Brilliant. A little bit more about Amy's book later on, but you actually read it in a weekend. I'm very, very impressed. And Jason says, LinkedIn went down for some reason, watching now on YouTube. Well, thank you so much for persevering. That's no good, is it, if it's not working on LinkedIn? So I'm going to have a little check about this, see what's happening on LinkedIn. What happened, Jason? Because at the moment I'm beta testing on LinkedIn. I did schedule this. So what's going on? Let's look at the posts. So, looks like it looks like LinkedIn is still working, but maybe it went down for a little bit. But there we go. That's live for you. You've got to play around with these things. Cool. Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, well, actually, I'm going to go through the main sections. The first thing I think you can do is focus on creating content around themes. The second one is building content or creating content around your guests. If you're going to invite a guest onto your show, around their expertise and content. The third one is to build your content around the type of live video content that you're going to create. And I've talked about this on the show before, but there's a great acronym, BLAST, here. Or if you're from the south of England, BLAST. And then 4 is to build your content around products. This is something that Janet Murray has talked about on the show before. And then finally, building your content around your audience. So that's around themes, around your guests' expertise and content, around the type of video, around your products, and then finally around your audience. So let's talk about themes first, because I think that's really important. On this show, I have 3 main themes. And so I always recommend when people create their live shows is to come up with 2 or 3 different themes that you know that your audience are going to really resonate with. And also it's really the 3 main themes of your business that you help your clients with. So Excuse me. I must have some kind of allergy or something at the moment. It's September the 1st. So there we go. My themes on the show are to build your confidence in front of the camera. So that's the mindset side of things. The second thing is the tech and the gear. And then the third thing is all about the content and the marketing. And you probably noticed that on the opening theme tune with the voiceover. So those are the three main themes. And so every single piece of content that I create, whether it's a live show, podcast, blog post, it's going to be about one of those three themes, or maybe more than one. But I do recommend focusing on one theme per podcast. So that's the first thing that I'd recommend that you do, is create a document, and in that document it has the three main themes of what your show is going to be all about. I definitely recommend that. So the second thing is if you're going to have guests on your show, and I highly recommend having guests on your show. I like to have a mix. So I like to do some solo shows, and I like to also do some shows with guests. The solo shows are great to build up your brand awareness and to show your expertise. Whereas if you have guests on the show, then it's often what you're doing is you're building their brand awareness and their authority. But the great thing about that is you're changing the show, you're making it a little bit more interesting, you're having other people on there. Also, you're able to potentially get their audience watching you, and that's a great way to grow your show as well. So definitely think about having guests on your show, but you can create content that is based on their expertise. To give you an example, now I'm a live video consultant and an expert on live video. Do I know everything about live video? No, I don't. So, for example, Facebook Messenger bots. At the moment, I would say I'm not an expert on Facebook Messenger bots. I know an awful lot more than I used to. So what I can do is I can bring on guests onto my show to talk about Facebook Messenger bots. Or it could be something very, very different. It could be to do with, I don't know, Alexander technique, which is to do with your posture, or something else to do with mindset. And so I can bring a guest on, and we can create content that's to do with their expertise. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I've got Patrice McCauley coming onto the show in a few weeks' time to talk about mindset. She's a life coach and a mindset coach. And so we're going to be creating some content around that. So yeah, that's number 2, creating content around your guests' expertise and content. So definitely check that out. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at who we've got watching here. So yeah, Jason said he's watching from Shropshire, and Martin is watching on LinkedIn, and it's working fine. So it might have just been a little blip. I don't know. Jason says, I'm currently beta testing too. Just went down momentarily and started buffering and wouldn't go back to live. So yeah, it's still in testing, and I have to say I'm really impressed with LinkedIn Live. I'm currently testing their new scheduling feature, so this gives me the ability to schedule in advance, and I'm really excited about that. So hopefully it's not going to be too long before LinkedIn can broad this out to the future, to everyone really. So yeah, definitely check that out. And Eileen Smith is here. Wow, you're up early, Eileen. I'm always impressed with your early morning starts. Great to see you, Eileen. Hope you're doing well. I'd love to have you on the show sometime. It'd be great to hang out with you, because I haven't seen you. When did we see each other in San Diego at Social Media Marketing World? Was it 2017? I feel it was something like that. Hope you're doing well, Eileen. Great to see you. Okay, cool. Right, so we've talked about themes. We've talked about your guests, their expertise. The next thing is blast, or blast, depending on your accent. So this is creating live video show content around the type of live video show that you're going to create. And so this is really all about when you do a live show, there are different types of live shows that you can do. So the one that the type of live show that I do is really the final one of this acronym, which is all to do with tips and advice on how to content. but there are loads of different ones. So let's go through BLAST. I've talked about this on the show before. And this is an acronym that has been created by a good friend of mine who I hope to have on the show at some point, Sam Ashdown. Sam Ashdown is awesome. She's been so helpful to me over the years, so supportive. And Sam, thank you so much. So this is an acronym that she's got, and I'll put a link to this in the show notes because she's talks all about this. So BLAST, we've got behind the scenes content. That's the B, behind the scenes. So people want to kind of see how you work behind the scenes. So I do that on the show a little bit. Sometimes I've talked about how I build my live video studio. People are quite nosy and really interested in how you work. So that's behind the scenes content. Really, really important. The next one is local content, which I haven't done that much of, but this you can look at this in two different ways. So I think Sam talks about highlighting people in your community. So it could be like a local business owner and highlighting them, maybe interviewing them or having them on your show and giving them a bit of, I don't know, just a bit of airtime, which is really cool. And I love that. And I'd love to do some of that. I haven't done much of that, if at all. But the other thing about local is people really love to know about your area. So, you know, I live just south of Manchester in a village called, or I think is it a town? I don't know. I'm going to call it a village called Cheadle. And so actually it would be really cool for me to share a little bit about my area. And so I've done that as I've walked about. I've done some lives and as I've walked about in my local park. So that's the local of BLAST. The A is for a day in the life. So what's a typical day like for you? How does that pan out for you? You know, so it might be different every week. And of course, the problem is at the moment, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to the podcast in the future or watching the replay, and you may be wondering what's happening. But of course, at the moment, we're in the middle of this worldwide pandemic. And so the world, our lives are probably very different. And it might be a little bit boring. This has been one of my issues, that I'm stuck in the house most of the time. And so, yeah, how much content can I create there? But everyone else is in the same boat. So actually creating content that shows what a typical day in the life is for you, I think it's really, really good, because empathy is a strong emotion. Okay, we're next on to S in BLAST, which is sneak peek. So this is a sneak peek on what you're currently working on. And I'm going to be talking about this. I've done a few little sneak peeks recently because I'm going to be launching a Facebook Live course very, very soon. It's all about how to launch your own Facebook Live show. So I've been giving a few little sneak peeks, but you can create a live show that shows this content that you're creating or a new product and allows you to talk with your audience and to get them to give them kind of special access or you know, first access to the content that you're creating, this new product that you're creating. That makes your audience feel special, but it also allows you to get some feedback on it. And then the final one is T, and that's tips and advice. And this is what a lot of live shows are all about. This is what this live show is about a lot of the time. This is your pillar content. This is tips and advice, how-to content that answers a question that your audience have and shows your audience, hopefully your expertise, and shows you what your gives them a lot of value. So that is BLAST, behind the scenes, local content, a day in the life, sneak peek, and tips and advice. Awesome. So Eileen says, we met, oh my goodness, this is awful. Social Media Marketing World 17 is where we met. We've known each other, Eileen, for years and years and years. And I think I subscribed to your newsletter back in something like 2011 or 2012. And we knew each other from the Google Plus days. But it was just so cool to meet you in real life. So definitely. And it would be awesome. Yeah, thank you, Eileen. It'd be great to have you on the show. This is really cool. So Eileen's watching on YouTube, but she's also watching on LinkedIn. Watch you on LinkedIn as well. I had to jump through several hoops though, so I wonder why that is. Let me know what the problem was on LinkedIn. Stephen says, it's a village. I live near there too. Yes, Cheadle, I suppose it is a village, although it's also classed as a town in terms of the post office. So, but I think you're right. I think technically it is a village. And Eileen says, thanks for the shout out. Just remind me, Eileen, what your blog is and the best place for people to check you out. Because Eileen creates so much valuable content that be great to, I mean, she does probably best to check out her YouTube channel. Just check out Eileen Smith. Fab. Okay, so what's next? I think it's time. Yeah, I think it is time to bring in my next sponsor, which is Content 10X. And this is awesome because I can't remember when. It might be next week, but we've got Amy Woods on the show, and she's going to be sharing a little bit more about her LinkedIn 10X service and also a bit more about repurposing. So Amy's been on the show before. Amy is the founder of Content 10X, and she's going to be talking about, she talks about before about how to repurpose your live videos into a plethora of different content. And this is what Content 10X is all about. It's the complete end-to-end content repurposing service for entrepreneurs. They have so many resources out there. I think Joe North was talking about the book, Amy's book, which is the Content 10X book, which you can find out at content10x.com. They've also got an amazing blog. They've got a podcast, and you can find out how to best utilize content repurposing, actually how to do it yourself. So many resources on there. It is amazing. But you may be thinking, well, how on earth am I going to have all the time to do it myself? Well, my first advice to you is don't try and do everything. Start small and build it up slowly over time. That's what I've been doing. But Content 10X have the service to be able to do this yourself. Whether it's whether you create live video, which is what I do every week. I do a live show every week, and then I repurpose that into a blog post and into a podcast. But the other service that Content 10X does is they have LinkedIn 10X, and this is all about how to really grow your audience and become to grow your brand awareness really and your authority on LinkedIn. What they will do is if you can create one video on LinkedIn every week, they will then take that and create lots of other pieces of content to really utilize your LinkedIn power. And it is amazing what they can do. So if you go to content10x.com and check out LinkedIn 10X, you can find out all about that. They're really smart, they're creative, they're really lovely guys. So definitely check out content10x.com for more information. And of course, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm going to have Amy on the show, which is going to be pretty awesome. So there we go. Fab. Okay. So that's great. So Eileen says, what does she say? She says, people can connect with me on YouTube. Just search for Eileen Smith. My website has the same name. So that's Ileane and surname Smith. So you'll be able to check that out. Thanks, Eileen. It's great to see you here. Right. Let's talk about the next bit, which is I just wanted to kind of dive into the actual show itself. So this is important because I think when we talked a lot about here the macro, the overview of the kind of the different types of shows that you can do and the main content. But when it comes to the actual show itself and how you structure it, I've talked about this a lot on the show before. But another acronym by my friend Sam Ashdown is, which I wanted to share with you now, just briefly, is ARENA. ARENA, and this is all about how the different kind of emotions and the different things that you can pull out in your show. So the first one, ARENA, the A is affinity, and this is creating a bit of empathy with your audience. So you can talk about a problem that everyone struggles with or that you struggle with. For example, it could be that confidence of getting in front of the camera. And sometimes you might feel like not pressing that go live button because you feel scared. I've had that. Do you feel like that? If so, you're not alone. So this is the affinity side of things. And of course, if you are struggling with that, all you need to do is just comment on my Facebook page or just go to confident.live/subscribe and you can get my free confidence guide all about that. So that's the A for affinity. That brings me on to reassurance, which I've kind of already said, which is you're not alone. So it's reassuring your audience. If you feel like this, you're not alone. Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay. But then we go on to the E of explain. And this is explaining how the audience, how the person watching can have an easy win. So easy steps to get something out, something that will help you out of this problem. Not completely, but it will give you a little bit. So again, with my confidence guide, you can download that. And if you just follow the first 3 steps in that, I can guarantee you that it's going to be a lot easier to press that go live button. So that's the explain bit. Then we're on to the N of arena, and this is nutshell. So this is important in any show. Right at the end is to summarize what you've been saying in the show, and to make it really easy for people. So this is the bit. So as you can see, all you need to do is do this, 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 and this, and your confidence will skyrocket, and you'll be able to press that go live button, and you have a lot more confidence. So that's the N of nutshell. And then finally, the bit that so many people forget, including myself, I'm a lot better at this now, but this is action, your call to action. Make it audience-centric as well. So make sure it is with them in mind. So it could be, for example, you've got a live show next week. So for example, for me, my call to action is on Thursday. I've got Lou Mangello on to talk about how to grow your community using live video shows. So if you want to find out about that and get notified, you need to go to click the button confident.live/subscribe. So that's your action. Awesome. Great. So that call to action is really, really important. But then that brings me on to something that I'm really excited about, and I've had Janet Murray on the show quite a few times, I think 3 times in fact, and she mentioned this on, which episode was it? iag.me/30, iag.me/30, and this is building content around your products. So if you plan your year or plan every quarter, you should know what products that you're going to be creating or services that you're going to be creating. So for me, I've got my Facebook Live course coming out very shortly. And so for me, I want to be creating content that is around the power of Facebook Live and why you should buy my course. Because at the end of the day, if you're on Facebook Live and you're a business, you are selling stuff, and don't be afraid of that. And I think certainly I found this, and if you struggle with this, let me know. But I'm going to be totally honest here. I've always struggled with the whole selling thing until relatively recently, because I feel that I just worry that if I start talking about a new thing that I've got that's going to help people, that somehow people are going to be really offended. And it's ridiculous. I'm here to give you as much knowledge and help as possible, but I've got some courses that you can buy that's going to really help you. And so building content around your products is really important. And so planning your year ahead, you could use Janet Murray's diary for this, or another diary that you want to use with, but making sure that you're creating content around your products. And she mentioned, Janet Murray mentioned in episode 30 about the 3 different types of content that you can talk about. This is from our mutual friend, Dan Knowlton. This is building content that's about awareness, building content that's about consideration, and building content that is around purchasing. So awareness content could be to do with the fact that you have a Facebook Live course, but also just around Facebook Live. And this is really all about helping your ideal customer. So who, in my case, is the perfect customer? Who is the kind of person that my live video course is going to really help? And so it's creating content that's going to attract those types of people, because I know those types of people, they are going to be perfect, or my course is going to be perfect for them. So it's creating awareness content, helping your ideal customer. The next one is to do with consideration content. So this is all to do with your audience already know that you have a Facebook Live course or some product coming, but it's maybe talking about reasons why they should buy it or why they should not buy that. Why this is really helping them in the process of buying your product. And I think it's really important to be honest here. Probably in most cases, your products aren't going to be perfect for everyone. So sometimes you'll want to talk about the negative, but sometimes talking about why you should not buy something can actually persuade somebody to buy it. A great example of that is my 7 reasons not to use Hootsuite article and a few other articles that I've written. I found that when I wrote that article, it talks about all the reasons why I think the negative reasons of Hootsuite, the cons, but I found that actually a lot of people read that and thought, oh, is that it? Are those the only reasons why I should not buy Hootsuite? Well, in that case, I'm going to buy it. So I actually found I got quite a lot of affiliate traffic from that article to Hootsuite. And it's the same with my other articles. So talking about what reasons why and why not is really helpful. So that's the consideration content. And then finally, it's the purchase content, which is, and this is Janet's words here. Do you want to buy or not? So you probably want to be a bit more subtle about that. But in my case, this would be on my launch week. I've just launched my Facebook Live course. It's all about this. And here is how you buy it. Why don't you buy it? So, and this is getting more into the whole sales side of things, which I'm still not amazing at, but it's something I'm working on all the time. So those three things are awareness, consideration, and purchase content as well. Cool. Right. So who have we got? A few more comments here. Martin Buckland says, I struggled with appearing in that one camera lens, but not now, thanks to you. I have a weekly Facebook Live 14 edition today and waiting LinkedIn Live permission. You've done amazingly, Martin. I'd love to have you on the show at some point because your story, you really did struggle to get in front of the camera initially. But once you got over it, there's been nothing stopping you. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. They're worried about the idea of it. Once they get over that, there's nothing that's going to stop you. So, fabulous. Let us know how you get on, Martin. I must catch one of your live shows. I keep on missing them for some reason. So I will try and catch one of them recently. And don't give up with LinkedIn Live. I know a lot of people have been trying to kind of get on LinkedIn Live and I've not had it. But my best advice to you really is to prove to LinkedIn that you do have a regular show on another channel, say, for example, Facebook, that you are creating really valuable content, and then put that in your application to LinkedIn Live. Yes, this is a great comment from Joe. I worry about offending people too with sales content. Yeah, it's I don't take this the right way, Joe, because I'm talking about myself here. But it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, how silly is that we should worry about offending people? I think some businesses go over the top. They're all sales, 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 sales. But the thing is, and I know this is the case with you, Joe, you create a lot of valuable content. You're continually giving valuable content to people. And this is what I do. I've been creating valuable content for years and years and years. And it was actually Upreneur Summit, I don't know whether it was this year or the year before, but a lot of people, I had about 5 or 6 people come up to me and say, Ian, I love your content. It's fabulous. I love what you you seem a really nice guy, but what do you actually do? What is it you're selling? And it was at that point I thought, I'm not doing enough to tell people about my products and my services. And so, if you want to help people, yes, you can give them lots of free content, which is what I do. But to really help them, you need to do a deep dive. You need to go into more detail. You need to have products that are going to take things to the next level. And in most cases, they're going to be paid things. So you need to think about that, definitely. So yeah, let me know how you get on with that, Joe. Eileen says, I need to create more paid digital products. Thanks for the encouragement. We all need encouragement in this, Eileen. I think it also depends on your business here. So Eileen, I think you and I, we have some similarities, I assume, in this. So I have digital products that I obviously sell. I have coaching and consultancy, which I love doing. But I also do I do some brand. I'm a brand ambassador for a few different tool companies out there. But I'm also, the content that I create, I do a lot of affiliate marketing where it makes sense. So I work with companies like Agora Pulse, with Ecom Live, and so I create a lot of content that talks about how to use these tools. And when people buy those products, I get a cut of that. And so with that, you don't really have to worry so much about sales. You have to worry really about the content that you're creating. But for digital products, you absolutely do need to think about sales. So which is really cool. Really important. Martin says, so his live show, definitely check out Martin's live show, which is Tuesday. It's called Tuesday at 2, which is at 2 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. in the UK. Awesome. I will check that out. Okay, cool. Right. So where did we get to? Yes, so the final point is building content around your audience. So going back to the beginning of what I was talking about creating this document that talks about why you're doing the show. It talks about your 3 main themes. The other thing that you need to put in there is who your ideal audience is and creating content that's going to really resonate with them. So it's great to talk about all your content, that all the stuff that you feel passionate about, but does it resonate with your audience? I'm a bit of a geek. I love technology, but I could be in danger of getting too techie and too geeky. And if I do that sometimes, tell me off. Some of my audience definitely love that, and going into a little bit of detail every now and again is great. But I need to think about my audience, and my audience aren't all geeks like I am. They just want to level their impact using live video. They want it to look professional. They're not really that bothered about the technicalities of RTMP streams and frames per second. Sometimes I will talk about those things because I think it actually is important to have some knowledge of those bits. But this is where it's really important to build content around your audience that's going to really help them. And so talk to your audience. And this is the great thing about live shows. Ask your audience what they want to see and what the problems that they are struggling with so that you can create really valuable content for them. So definitely think about that. And I would always love to hear from you guys watching or listening, what you would like me to talk about on the show. But I've got some really cool topics coming up soon. We're going to be talking about Facebook ads. We're going to be talking about Facebook bots. We're going to be talking about selling. We're going to be talking about influencer marketing and so many and mindsets and all those kinds of things. So I can't wait to be sharing those things with you and having some amazing guests on the show. So just a final recap on what I talked about in the show. It's really about planning your content. It's thinking about the different types of content that you can create. It's planning and having a process for all of this. But you can create content around your themes, content around your guests' expertise, and content around your type of content, the type of live show that you're going to be doing. And this is the whole BLAST acronym. Number 4 is content around your products. This is the whole awareness, consideration, and purchase thing. And then finally is content around your audience. And so that's really important, thinking about your audience and making sure that the content really, really resonates with them. So that's really the end of it today. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. If you are watching live or watching the replay, do check out my podcast and subscribe to that. All you need to do is go to iag.me/podcast. And I would also love it if you had a little play with my new Facebook Messenger bot and give me some feedback on that, because I'm playing around with that. All you need to do is comment on my Facebook page, on the live video on my Facebook page. Or if you're watching on another network, all you need to do is go to confident.live/subscribe. That's confident.live/subscribe. And let me know how you get on with that. So that's really awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for getting involved with this show. I really appreciate this. But until next time, I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.